Hey there, this is Elizabeth, the teaching artist for the Timken Museum of Art with another art tutorial for you. Today we're going to learn how to develop a finished drawing. Often when students are learning to draw, they get frustrated or impatient because their drawings don't immediately look like what they want. But nobody's drawing looks great at the beginning of the drawing process. Not even the best artists expect a perfect drawing without lots of adding and subtracting of marks and shading. Here's an example of what we're going to be creating today. But before we get started, I have to make sure you have all the needed art materials, which is super easy today, just a pencil and paper. All right, the next thing I want to show you is a gray scale. So these are different values of gray from white to black. Number 1 is the lightest, number 9 is the darkest. So now when we compare that gray scale to the finished drawing that I created, you can see that there's a variety of those values within the bird. The term value in this context just means how light or dark something is. And it's all created with shading with pencil. All right, so first step is you're going to create a tone over your entire piece of paper. You achieve this by using the side of your pencil to shade and then your hands to smear it so it makes it more even. Please pause the video to take this step. Okay, so here's the reference for our drawing. And what we're going to do first is draw the body, which is just going to be a simple oval shape. So notice that it's fairly large and is in the center of the paper, and the paper's oriented horizontally. After that, you're going to draw a circle on top of that oval for the head, and then you're going to draw a rounded triangular shape for the beak. After that, you're going to go for the wings by overlapping an oval on top of the body and then creating several smaller, more narrow ovals underneath that first oval, and then at the tail end of that body shape oval, you are going to create more narrow ovals that are different sizes and overlapping. Next, you're going to go for the leg, which is initially just going to be a stick figure shape. And you're going to add the second leg. For right now, we're only going to draw that one line. Coming off of that first leg and claw will be tree branches. There's really no wrong way to draw tree branches. Just give something for your bird to be perched on top of. Next, we're going to move back up to the top of the bird and connect the top of the head with the back of the oval, that is the body. And then we need to connect the underneath part of the head to the body and round out the belly a little bit and come down to that back leg and create a triangle shape. Next, come to the leg in front and create a rectangular shape surrounding the stick figure that you drew for the leg, and a diagonal that's going to connect the body to the tail feathers. I'm tracing over my lines a little bit darker to make them pop and clean up a little bit. After that, I'm adding little U shapes for the feathers, and then I'm moving back up to the head to add the eye. I pull a straight line off the top of the beak and then create a circle underneath that I then color in for my eye. I'm refining my lines a little bit. You can go over your lines to clean them up and then take that eraser and erase away any of those initial construction lines that you no longer need. Now I'm continuing to refine. This whole drawing tutorial is going to show you how to develop a drawing. Now, that means that there's going to be some erasing away of line and adding line. It's called pushing and pulling a drawing, pushing things back and pulling things forward. So what you're going to be seeing me do is add marks, take away marks, make them darker, make them more detailed, and so on. So right now I'm getting into the branches a little more detail and darkening them a little bit so it's more apparent. Now I'm going to move up to the bottom edge of the wing to darken it. If you are referring to the photo to the right, you will see where you need to get more darks, where you need to get more detailed, and where you need your lights. So what I'm doing now is adding darks for the modeling on the feathers. So that's easy to accomplish by adding dark values wherever you see darkness in the photo. Now notice, up top on that wing, I realized that my wing was coming up a little too high, so I rounded it out and cut it down a little bit, and then moved into shading the top of the head and underneath the head and beak, down into the chest. So I'm continually adding value and erasing away when I get a little too dark. Now with this technique, with the tonal value down over the entire paper, when you erase away, you can draw with your eraser to refine some of those outer edges of the bird. You definitely want to be paying attention to where the light values are versus the dark values. So you will be constantly looking at the reference off to the right. And it's a push and pull. Adding darks, adding lights, refining lines, erasing lines, redrawing lines, and so on. Please watch the process so that you can pick up on some techniques and approaches to help you to create a better drawing. A good drawing happens over time. It doesn't happen right off the bat. You're not going to draw exactly how you want it to look in the first pass. It always takes layers, like you're seeing what I'm doing here. Now, when you erase away the background to create a nice light value to contrast the bird off of, it will really frame up your drawing. You can also refine the outer edged lines with the eraser by erasing away when it needs to get a little narrower and then adding pencil when it needs to get redrawn. Again, please just watch me do it before you try it yourself. There's so many things that you can learn visually that with words I can't accurately describe for you. The entire time you are looking at that reference off to the right, trying to match the values that you see. So right now is all about shading and all about refining your drawing. So anywhere that I can get lighter, I get lighter. Anywhere I can get more detailed, I get more detailed. If I need to refine my drawing, like the underneath of that beak was giving me some problems, so I was erasing away and redrawing to correct it. Drawing well takes time and patience, as well as lots of practice. The practice helps you to develop your fine motor skills, which then allows you to be more detailed and accurate with your drawings. It's all about the practice and time. Remember to use the eraser like I'm doing here to pull out some of the lighter values. You don't always want to pull it all the way back to the white of the paper. Only some areas in your picture will actually be all the way to the white of the paper, and those areas will be your strongest highlights. Everywhere else will have a little bit of pencil on it to create a little bit of a tone. Every part will have a little bit of value to it. Think of that grayscale at the beginning of the lesson that was from 1 to 9, 1 being white and 9 being black. We want to have a variety of values. Come back in and find where you can get darker, where you can get more detailed, and where your strongest highlights will be. On this picture, the strongest highlight will definitely be on the bird's chest. Now you can see I'm detailing out the branches, figuring out where I can get darker and where I can get cleaner with my lines. It's important to work on all parts of the drawing together, so you're not just focusing in on one area at a time. You want to be working again on the entire picture, bringing it to life together. So you're not going to get overly dark or light only in one area and then leave another area completely unfinished. You're going to be adding slowly with the details, with the darks, where you can get lighter, and so on. I'm trying to emphasize how important it is to be patient with these drawings. It takes time to develop a drawing. Make sure not to miss these little details on the tail feathers. Those little dark patches read like banded tail feathers, which really helps the bird look more real. All right, I'm in the final stages of this drawing. I feel good about all the shapes. I feel good about the values with the exception of the darks. I need to go through and darken all the darks. And that's what I've done here. Off camera, I went through and darkened anywhere that could be darker in reference to the photo. All right, you've made it to the end of another art tutorial. Congratulations. Thank you for taking the time to challenge yourself and to be creative. And please share what you've made with us.